Just 1 week to go until Liverpool begin the defence of their Premier League title here at Anfield against newly promoted Leeds United. Just one game to go for Jurgen Klopp to get some messages and minutes into his players. It comes against League One opposition with a very familiar face in the opposition dugouts. Yes, it's Klopp's Liverpool against Neil Critchley's Blackpool here this afternoon, and it is live on LFC TV and LFC TV Go from 3 o'clock. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome along to Anfield. Yes, Liverpool against Blackpool coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon. If you haven't signed up to watch it just yet and you're watching us live on Facebook at the moment, you can still do so. There's still time for that. liverpoolfc.com/watch is where you need to head to. Time for us to welcome our new signing of the summer. Phil Thompson is alongside us. Good afternoon to you.
Hi Rob, how are you?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Very good, not too bad. Making me debut again at Anfield.
Any nerves?
Well, a little bit.
I think you'll get through it just about okay. Now, this has been a very irregular pre-season for every club. Can any manager, Jurgen Klopp or any of the other 19 in the Premier League, say this has been ideal preparation for them?
Never in the world. As we've seen with the Project Restart at the end of last season, you always knew it was going to be different, the pre-season. What you had to do was get the best that you possibly could. Now, I know Jurgen was wanting to go back to Evian in France. That wasn't possible, but Austria was his next best bet. I think he's still looking, as we've seen, which we'll probably talk about the Charity Shield last week, just to sharpen up a few of the players.
You can see a great series of interviews on LFC TV Go called Behind the Champions. It's about the work of every member of staff pretty much at Melwood, and I guess this has been a period where sports analysts, physios, doctors earn their money in terms of how you can get the players ready for such an irregular season.
Well, a lot of what fans don't see all the time, they may hear about it, but it's recovery. So it's what you actually do once the game is finished, as you're leading up to the other one. And it's not the training what you do, it's the recovery, what you're putting back into the body. So of course, to get all the analysts, to get them all together and say, right, what are we going to do? Because this is unprecedented what we've seen. So it's how are we going to get the best? All these players that we'll be seeing, they're all different in little bit of ways. So they're all getting, now many years ago they would see en bloc. Now it's all tailored to individuals. So of course you'll have to go right through all your analysts, all your coaching staff to get them to, if you can, to near peak fitness.
Let's have a look at the team that Liverpool have selected today. Of course, it is such an irregular Saturday. There are pre-season friendlies, there are League Cup games, and there's international football. So a whole host of players missing for Liverpool, but still plenty of strength in the lineup. Alisson will keep goal. Youth and experience in the back four with Kiana Hoover. Joel Matip returns from injury and he's partnered by teenager Billy Koumetio with James Milner at left back. A midfield three of Naby Keita, Fabinho and Takumi Minamino. Blackpool won't be looking forward to Liverpool's front three though. The usual trio of Salah, Firmino and Sadio Mane. I mean, Jurgen Klopp, and it is a case for every manager. It's not like Liverpool are in a position on their own, but seeing some of the players go away for international football this weekend, it's a bit balmy to me.
It's crazy, and it is. Being on that side as a coach, it was never ever good. That first international, I think, normally came after the first or the second game of the season. But now, because of the pandemic and the Project Restart, trying to get this back underway as soon as possible, it's been thrown right before the start of the season, which is absolutely ridiculous. And you wish the clubs could have a bit more of a say to it, because UEFA and FIFA, they pull rank, and it's really very, very hard because the players are not ready. They're just about ready for sort of the Premier League football, but never mind international football.
Well, Jurgen Klopp, you might have seen him enjoying a bit of a chat with his opposite number today, Neil Critchley, before kick-off. Let's get Klopp's pre-match thoughts first. He's been speaking to Becky Davis.
OK, Jurgen, it's just over 6 weeks, I think, since you were last here, lifting the Premier League trophy on the Kop. How nice is it to be back here and back home at Anfield?
Oh, very nice. I realised it only when I came over from the Kenny Douglas stand and walked over the pitch, so it feels familiar and strange as well. So it's really a while ago, and so we can't wait. Actually, it's really nice that we have this opportunity today to play this game 1 week before we start against Leeds. It will be difficult, and so yeah, really happy to be back.
Okay, team news-wise, I think a bit of an experimental lineup because of the internationals, especially probably in defence.
Not, yeah, experimental, I don't know. So Joel is fit. Joel trains now a week with us, which is very important, obviously, considering the situation we have on the centre-back situation. Billy played so far an exceptional pre-season, 17 years old. Still growing, still learning every day. Really nice, so good to give him the opportunity to play in a game like this. Millie, yeah, played this position not the first time. Both left backs are obviously not here, and Kijana can play that position very well. So yes, it's a new, obviously pretty new last line, but that's it pretty much. And apart from that, we have a lot of offensive players here, which is good, and we try to bring them, or as many as possible of them, together on the pitch, and that's why we play like we play.
Obviously, for some of the younger players like Billy, though, a great opportunity to really grasp that chance.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, but well deserved. So look, you bring a young boy in for pre-season. I was excited, but had not the biggest expectations, because it makes no sense when a boy is 17 years old, and then you see him from the first session. He's calm on the ball, really a monster in the air, heading wise, looks good in challenges, throws his body in between the shooter and the goal, and so that's all good. And now he plays that game, and yeah, we will see.
You mentioned Joel. A word for him and Jordan Henderson back in training this week. How have they been getting on?
Good, and obviously Hendo was desperate to play today a few minutes as well, but it makes no real sense. We said because he had to do an important session today for him. So if he would have played today, my 10 minutes or so would have been probably okay, but that makes no sense. It's all good. It's just water.
A bit wet.
and so that was not possible. But he trained in big parts of this week, and will probably join full team training next Tuesday. Timing-wise, not perfect, but that he cannot play today, but can train a few days later fully. But that's how it is. So we will see how he develops then in a few days until Leeds. How the boys come back from the national team. So yeah, a lot of open questions still, and but a few hopefully we can answer today.
And finally, obviously, a reunion with Neil Critchley, who obviously knows this club inside out. He knows some of your tricks probably, and you know how he likes to play. Have you been chatting this week at all, or on text, on the phone?
No, I didn't. I think Pep made a contact with Critch when we thought, who can we play? And then we saw the result they had against Everton, and that was the moment. We didn't want to play them because they played 3-3. It's just, oh yeah, Critch, of course, let's ask him. So he was pretty open for that, and so it's nice. I think we all respect Critch a lot. We all like him, and when he went to Blackpool, and then the lockdown was for all of us a massive challenge. But if you are new in the club, then it's a proper knock. As you are there full of excitement, full of desire to really dig deep and all that stuff, and then you come there and your hands are tied pretty much. That's not cool. So I'm really happy, and we made kind of an analyze. Good. They're good, unfortunately for us today, but in general really good for him. So it looks like a proper football team, good build-up, physically strong, speed up front, good organized. So not surprised that Critch sets up a team like this, but it's nice to see anyway.
Okay, best of luck. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
And let's make our way through the Liverpool team. And we'll start with your area of expertise, the back four. And Joel Matip, with Dejan Lovren having gone, this is a big 90 minutes, or however many minutes he gets in, because there's only 3 recognised senior centre-halves left now.
Yeah, it is, and we'll come to Billy Kmetia in a minute, but I think it is massive for Joel. And I think because of his injuries that he had, leading up to the Champions League final when he was a revelation. And for me, I was looking, I thought it was always going to be Joe Gomez and Van Dijk. But the emergence of Joel, you were going, wow, this boy's looking a player. But you pick up an injury, and it gives somebody else the opportunity to come in and stake a claim for your spot. So I think he's a fantastic player. Still, my preference is Joe, but I think Joel really has to say how much that he wants to play, because we've seen with Joe and with Joel, they are injury prone. So you have to be ready. You have to make sure you're doing your stuff. And when my chance comes, I'm going to be ready to grasp it, because it might happen again, and then it might be Joe with the sad face.
And I guess the breakthrough story of pre-season has been Billy Koumetio, who you just touched on. What do you look for from a young defender? When you're just looking out and you will see him throughout the course of the afternoon, what would you like to see? What would encourage you?
I think one of the first things is not taking too many risks. People will say, oh, they want to see them charging forward with the ball. I don't mind people coming forward with the ball, but you have to, as you come out, you pass it and everything's in front of you. You're running and you go, oh my goodness. Billy, I think that's why I really wanted to listen to Jurgen's interview. And you can hear, I was listening to some of the things what he was saying, how composed he was, how cool he is, but he'd throw himself into shots. But to me, it always comes back as centre-backs. It's the least amount of mistakes that you will make it, the higher in the game that you will go. And we've seen a lot of good centre-backs, but they're prone to mistakes. And you can see it in them, and it's stuck in them. Otamendi at Manchester, Phil Jones. Go through all players, and you know. And as a coach, you identify them. And I think Billy has to make sure he eases his way through this. And Joel has to help him get through this game. He's 17 years of age, but speaking to quite a few people, they say he's a massive talent.
Talking of massive talents, we've seen more glimpses perhaps, and particularly in the Community Shield last week where he got his first Liverpool goal. What will that have done for Takumi Minamino, do you think?
Well, I like him. We keep on going on about the 2 games that he played against us in the Champions League, and he was tremendous. But a lot in those games, you're playing Liverpool, 2 games, and you play out of your skin. You have to watch him a little bit more. I think he's at times overawed, and I think he's just got to get out of that mould, because I think he's got that talent in those tight spaces, like Phil Coutinho used to do. I think he can bring that to this side when we need to open up, as we did last week against Arsenal. We just didn't have that sharpness to break them down.
Was there a sort of sense of that as well with Naby Keita for you over the past couple of seasons? Touch overawed, a little bit shy, still learning the language, but this could be, you think, a big campaign for him?
Absolutely. And Naby's been here a bit longer than Minamino. But you see Naby coming through, and I always think when you have players of his ability, tight control, but he's so quick off the mark, it's to glide past people when you need it in that final third, and I think he can bring that. But I think he's been overawed, and he's probably played at a better standard than what Minamino did. But I still think he's been overawed by coming here and with all these players. That's why I've said I think this could be a massive season for him. And if he does bring that to the table, I think he'd be a real plus for the side.
Well, a chance for both Keita and Minamino this afternoon, up against, as we said, a very familiar face in the opposition dugout, Blackpool, and Neil Critchley, who's been speaking to Becky Davis.
OK, Neil, it's a return to a club which I know means so much to you, a stadium which gave you such a special night in that FA Cup tie. You're looking around quite emotional, I think. What's it like to be back?
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's just a special place, isn't it? You know, when you pull up and you get the goosebumps, and yeah, wow, you just look around and look at the flags behind the goal, and it's just a special place, you know. Just really privileged and honoured to come back and have a game today, and hopefully we can, you know, give top quality opposition a really good game today. But delighted to be back, yeah.
We'll talk about your side in a moment, but a few of your old charges in the 23s for Liverpool are kind of making that step up now. We know about Curtis and Nico. Billy Koumetio's kind of come into the fore. This could be a massive season for him. Yeah,
it's a big step for Billy today. You know, it's a great game for him to play in. He's got, you know, obviously, like all the young boys, things to work on, but he's in a great environment, working with top quality staff and playing it. I imagine he'll be playing alongside Joel Matip today, and there's such a massive influence on him. So I'm really looking forward to see how he does and some of the other younger boys are doing. So they couldn't be at a better place with better staff and better players around them to learn. This is such a special place for that to happen, and hopefully maybe he doesn't have such a great game today, but no, I hope he does. I hope they really play well, the young boys, and do well this season for the club.
It must make you incredibly proud, really, to see the progress that they're making.
Yeah, of course. That was my job, is to try and develop the players, and give the boss and the staff some players that could give him something to think about, you know, and such an incredibly difficult task to get into the group of players that they've got at the moment. But you know, what we always try to do is give them players that fitted the right characteristics of the players that was in front of them. We'd also like to think that technically they were good enough coming through the academy, but tactically they need to learn the game, and they did that, or they were doing that with the process that was in place with the first team. But you know, as long as they keep that hunger and that drive and they stay humble, then some of them will do very well.
In terms of yourself, obviously you left here in March and you barely had a chance to get your feet under the table,
Yeah.
did you, before the pandemic obviously unfortunately intervened. What are your hopes for the season ahead with Blackpool?
Yeah, we want to progress from where we were last season. You know, we finished 13th last season, although the season was curtailed. We've had a big turnaround in the personnel of the squad so far, but you know, promising signs pre-season, albeit pre-season. We played well at Stoke last week and competed well against them. Different proposition again, obviously today, but as long as we practice who we're going to become today, then I'm hopeful that we can progress and have a better season than what we had last season.
And for your players as well, I know it may be a friendly, but what an occasion to come to Anfield.
Yeah, very much so. It'd be so much better if there's supporters here, you know, the week before the Premier League season starts to kick off and we're playing the Premier League champions, and it'd be just, you know, this place would be full today, and that's a bit of a shame, but it's also, sometimes when it's empty, it's you get to look around and you admire the place, and it's just fantastic, and you know, we know we're up against it today, but as long as we show with the things that we've been practicing, and I say there's no better opportunity to practice against proper, you know, top quality opposition who know exactly what they're doing on the pitch, because they've been playing together for a number of years. So tough game, but a great opportunity for us. Can't wait to see how we do.
And finally, a reunion with Liverpool obviously means a reunion with Jurgen. Have you spoken to him much this week? Had a few texts at all?
No, not yet. But I seen him just a minute ago. So he was fantastic for me, fantastic for the younger players, giving me an opportunity, giving the players an opportunity. You know, I got tremendous support from Alex at the academy as well. The football club is what it is because of the people, and yeah, I'd be delighted to see Jurgen and the staff, all the staff today. It'd be great.
Okay, best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And it really is great to see him back at Anfield. He's such a humble man. He speaks with such dignity. And I think probably the way he handled the team, not just in that famous night against Shrewsbury, but against Aston Villa as well, went some way to earning him this chance at Blackpool.
Without a doubt. And I was listening to the interview when they were doing it earlier on, and I thought, wow, you're now the manager of a Football League club. And he was so humble of being here. But you're quite right. I was looking back and I was thinking to myself, wow, that Aston Villa game. Do you think before Aston Villa scored in that game,
chances.
We had about 3 chances. We could have been, and it could have changed. We could all say that about the game. But it was how he had his boys playing the game. But quite easy. Don't take any risk. Just lump it. They passed it out from the back, and they were truly fantastic. Shrewsbury, exactly the same. And I think fair credit to him, and it has been that, because they will have known it from under-23 manager at Liverpool. That wouldn't have done it, but that high profile in front of the cameras, and I think he'd done himself a power of good, and I'm so pleased for him, because it's hard to take that. He could be in his comfort zone with the under-23s for quite a few years, but he wants to give himself the best chance.
It was interesting to use that word comfort zone there, and I guess from going from a 23s coach to a manager of a first team, it all changes, because ultimately the job spec with 23s is get some players into the first team. Here, if you lose 3 in a row, suddenly the fans are asking questions.
Absolutely, and that's the chance that you take, and that's what Neil has done, because with the under-23s, that is what is on your ticket. Bring players through, because people will look at results and they go, oh, the results. It's about the players, and how many you can get through is how good you actually are. I've been there with the reserve team many years ago, and that's what it was. I never like to lose a game like that. But it was, and Neil has done that. And you see the players that have come through, a testimony to how he, obviously, Jurgen, this is the way I want all my teams to play. But it's testimony to him how he gets them to play, to be comfortable on the ball, to play the Liverpool way. And I say that's got him the chance, and I'm so pleased for him.
And his team today has a lot of young players in, and I guess particularly for lower league clubs with the pandemic and the financial impact, working with young players is important because you might not be able to pick up so many 30-odd-year-olds or give you experience.
Oh, it is. You can't. You maybe throw a few quid. You maybe throw a few quid at a few more experienced players. You can't do that anymore because they've not got money. I think they should have had a bit more out from the Premier League, should have had a bit more money coming down to them. They're the lifeblood, these clubs. And as you say, Neil doesn't get much luck, doesn't get much help. He could be out before Christmas, and he knows he's taking that chance. But I do feel for a lot of the clubs. Having said that, you'll get a lot of young players getting the opportunity to play in the Championship, to play in League One, to play in League Two. So, fair play. I think Neil has made a tough decision, but I admire him for it.
Just very, very briefly, what do you want to see from Liverpool this afternoon?
I want to hopefully see that sharpness, because we will have loads of the ball, that sharpness in that final third, because that was against Arsenal. And I think that is where really I want to see it today. A bit more and a few more balls being threaded through.
Tomo, thank you very much. Indeed, we will go and take cover before the sprinklers get us here in the corner of the ground. If you haven't signed up yet, still time to do so. liverpoolfc.com/watch, and Liverpool against Blackpool is live and exclusive after this short break. Do stay with us.